There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
In the very beginning, the term OEM integration referred to how we were going to get the signal from the factory system to be able to augment it or make it better by adding hardware such as amplifiers and speakers. Now, the term has certainly evolved over time, and a world-class loudspeaker company in Focal has recognized the opportunity and has provided and put some resources towards creating a solution for replacing factory speakers with their brand speakers. This is CMA Connected, Focal Inside, and it starts now. Welcome, everybody, to another CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on this Connected session, we are continuing down the path that is OEM integration, but with a little bit of a twist. No, we're not talking about getting signal. We're talking about factory replacement speakers, application-specific, plug and play. Yes, I use the term plug and play because today I can say confidently that what we're about to discover and go over are truly plug and play solutions to upgrade the factory speakers in hundreds of applications that world-class speaker manufacturer Focal has made. And they call the line Focal Inside. Now, this line is distributed in Canada exclusively by our good friends at Importel. So I've decided to invite their product specialist and brand manager, Mr. Jaren Hjelmeland, to the studio today.
How's it going today, Ben?
Jaren, it's going great. We're talking Focal. You know, I always get into a good mood when we're talking about Focal. And not only are we talking about Focal, we're talking about a very specific engineered product line from the Focal brand that targets specifically OEM integration on application-specific type solutions. It's a whole suite of products. What makes Focal Inside such a unique offering within this OEM integration space?
Well, they're definitely a unique offering due to the fact that you're starting out with a Focal speaker. Like, let's start with that point, that you're getting a premium branded speaker, but you're also getting a very wide range in that lineup, from anywhere from the European models to definitely the Japanese models and all the way down to Harley Davidson, which is a very US specific model and something that's huge in North America. And Focal went deep into that lineup, a bunch of R&D, because that market is so huge.
I'm going to venture to say that, the most widely known kit that I see through social media is probably those Harley Davidson speakers, because they are so popular for upgrade. And we're going to get into details of each one of these. But I think with today's session, we really want to show the dealers the variety, number one, but also the opportunity that this presents. So I'm going to ask you, since you deal with dealers all the time, Jaren, is there an appetite right now for direct fit speakers, and more specifically, higher end direct fit speakers like what Focal has to offer?
Yeah, there's definitely an appetite for those higher end speakers in a vehicle, and the dealers love it because OEM fit, OEM plug and play. It saves time in the bay, and anytime you can save time in the bay and still have a predictable, high quality end result of that, it's just a recipe for success.
I'm going to establish something here, Okay, I use the word plug and play. It's not my favorite word, but the reason I can confidently use this for today's presentation is because I want to clearly define there are products out there that say OEM fit. Okay, it's kind of like a generically used term.
Yes.
What we're talking about today, folks, we're talking about this speaker comes out of the box with the molding exactly like the original equipment on the vehicle, with the exact mounting holes, with the plugs that plug directly to the original plugs. We're not talking about shimming, making new holes. Oh, it has 6 different versions of holes on the ring to fit 6 different or 20 different. No. We are talking very application specific, and I'm sure Jaren's going to go through the whole gambit of all those features. So without further ado, I'm going to set you up. We're going to go. Here's how it's going to work. Jaren's got a presentation he wants to go through to make sure you guys understand the offering and a couple of the key features. Then we're going to have a little case study where we have 3 different videos that we're going to watch and discuss. One on BMW, one on Mercedes, and one on Harley Davidson. And that'll come after the presentation. So for now, we're going to set you up, Jaren. Away you go. And let me know when you're done. We'll come back and do the next part together.
Thanks, Ben. So we're going to go through the whole lineup here of the Focal inside speaker lineup, the different brands that they categorize on, and the different speaker offerings available through each of the different brands. So Focal inside, as you can show here, all these speakers come with a nice branding on it with a Focal. You can see that gray Focal laser cut logo that you can add to these speakers after and actually brand the system, which is a very nice touch by Focal to really show that you have a Focal system in the vehicle. So this is covering 840 vehicles, 45 car brands. We've kind of split them up here into the different offerings. There's definitely lots of brands out there in the European market that we won't cover, but it shows the entire offering. And Focal is doing this worldwide as well. So you got to remember there is some crossover here. There's some differences worldwide for sure, but they hit a lot of the major brands out there on the market, which is great. So first we want to start out with the BMW kit. So there's 7 different kits available in the BMW lineup. 2 brands that will cover, BMW and Mini. Mini being a huge category that I think lots of people overlook the fact that it is still a BMW built vehicle and shares a lot of the same DNA with it. So again, we're using OEM connectors. Neodymium motors on this, just based on the physical size allowed in a lot of those BMWs. They're using 4-inch speakers in the doors and the 8-inch underseat woofers. So there isn't a lot of space in those door panels. So if anyone that's ever worked on a BMW trying to fit speakers in, it can definitely be a struggle. And using this Focal inside product it's going to make your life a lot easier. So there's 2 different versions of the coax that you can see here, the IC BMW 100 and 100L. So there's 2 different types of mounting plates, whether it be a large mounting plate or a small mounting plate for that coax speaker. And the application chart will help you determine which one you're needing for your vehicle. Another cool one that they do is the ICC BMW 100. So that is going to be the center stage speaker that you're going to use in BMWs. It's sold as a single. It's designed for that center upgrade speaker that a lot of the BMWs have. And then you get to the component speakers, again, 2 different versions with the small mounting plate and the large mounting plate, the IS BMW 100 and 100L. And then underseat woofers. So these aren't actual subwoofers. It's your lower range in the BMWs. It's not going to pound like a subwoofer, but it will give you that bottom end bass in the vehicle. And again, 2 different versions depending on the vehicle, whether it be a 2 ohm impedance or a 4 ohm impedance in that vehicle. So all these speakers use that neodymium motor, polyglass cones on all these speakers, and your aluminum magnesium inverted dome tweeters on all these speakers. Next, we get into probably the highest end range, pretty close in the Mercedes kit. So this was the first inside that was made with the flat sandwich cone. because that Mercedes is that higher end vehicle, it was the one that they launched with this higher end speaker and getting the Flax lineup into the inside lineup. So they're great speakers, 6 different kits available anywhere, and they are direct fit as everything, plug-in OEM connectors. These speakers actually clip into the housings. They aren't actually screwed in on a bunch of them. So you have the coax kit, the IC BMW 100L, the rear coax kit IC BMW 100. They also make a central speaker for the Mercedes vehicles, but one thing slightly different about the Mercedes ones is they use a dual coil for the call emergency function. So it has 2 OEM connectors on the speaker that's sold as a single, and it maintains that OEM functionality of using that speaker for the OEM emergency call functions, where all your prompts would come through that center speaker. Obviously, a component front speaker, the IS MBZ 100, is going to be your front component set with aluminum inverted dome tweeters, flax sandwich cones, and these all use an aluminum structure to it, which is pretty cool to have an aluminum house speaker for the inside lineup. And then subwoofers as well. The OEM subwoofers in all of these Mercedes cars are in the front footwell, so they use a very robust aluminum structure with an aluminum grille that's still branded Focal front subwoofers in these vehicles, which is going to be a great OEM fit in there. And once you see those subwoofers, the R&D that went into just getting those molds done with the nice Focal logo into the aluminum grills, just extra touches are just awesome on these. Next, we're going to go into the Toyota kit. So Toyota kit, again, 4 different kits, 4 brands across. It's going to cover your Toyotas, your Scions, your Subaru, and some of the Lexus offerings. Polyglass cone, aluminum inverted tweeter, dome tweeters on these as well. So you're going to have 2 different component kits on this, the IS Toy 165, which is going to be OEM replacement, and the IS Toy 165 TWU. So that's going to be actually a tweeter upgrade kit. So this will allow you to put a component kit using factory mounting locations for the woofer, but say to use in a vehicle that didn't have OEM tweeters. Let's say it came from factory with just factory components in the front door, or factory coax in the front door, I mean. This will allow the upgrade for you to add tweeters and bring up your sound stage of the vehicle, which would be helpful in the sound quality of the vehicle, but you're still using that OEM woofer mount. And inline crossovers on the tweeters be a great upgrade for the vehicle. And then there is also the IS Toy 690s. So your 6x9 factory fronts that are used in a lot of the trucks and SUVs, factory location, screw in using the factory hardware, factory connectors, and those tweeters have factory mounts to them as well. I seem to be using the word factory a lot in this, and that's exactly what Focal is going for, is that factory fit, where if you're taking a car to the dealership and take the door off, you're still seeing it's looking factory. It's removed factory. It's very similar to that factory mount in the vehicle. So next we get into the Ford kits. Covers 2 different brands for us, the Ford and Mazda. They share a lot of similarities. Ford being huge, especially the trucks here in North America. I know I'm in Alberta and it's truck country. These are used in the F-150s. They share a lot of the car's same speakers in the vehicle as well, but those Fords is definitely something to go for. So 4 different kits available. These are using the polyglass cones, again, aluminum inverted dome speakers. So you have IS Ford 165, so your component 6.5, coax 6.5, and then component and coax also in the Ford speakers, or in the 6x9 Fords as well. So we had a previous CMA video if you want to talk about efficiency in the bay, and I was able to do a component set of speakers in a Ford truck in about 20 minutes. So it's definitely, with these OEM connectors and being able to take the vehicle apart, is just going to increase that functionality in the bay and get more vehicles through using these OEM kits available. So Volkswagen kit, it was one of the initial kits that was done by Focal, was the Volkswagen kit. So these are the upgraded newer kits for the Volkswagen, but it was one of the first ones in the lineup to be done before they even went down the Focal Inside lineup. And again, 4 different kits available for these ones, for the different options in the vehicle. So there is one coax kit in the 6.5, and then 3 of the component kits, whether it be the 7-inch factory, 6.5-inch factory, or 6.1-inch factory. So different options for the different vehicles that Volkswagen makes. And these also include the OEM rivets to rivet it back into the doors of the vehicle, which Volkswagen is known for. Anyone that's installed before has had those rivets, had to take those rivets out of the vehicle on the door panel. So it actually includes the OEM or new rivets to put back into the speaker. So getting that factory look back to how it was before, which is a great added touch. So Nissan kit. This one is a little bit of not as known or commonly used kit, but there's 5 kits available, more than 120 models, and vehicles that you might not think of, but you start using the website, the lookup chart, and realize that, hey, Smart uses the same speakers as Nissan, Infiniti, and there's plenty of these vehicles on the road, especially Rogue, Sentra, Pathfinder. We know how many Nissans are on the road, and this would be a great upgrade for those Nissan vehicles, or just even OEM replacements with blow-in speakers. And it goes back quite a way on the models here. Again, polyglass cone, aluminum, magnesium, inverted dome tweeter. So we have 5 different kits available. The IC REN 130, IS, the separate kit, and then 2 different coax and component in the 6.5 kit, and a component kit in the 6x9s as well. So full lineup on these as well for all the different fitments of those vehicles. And then into, like Bennett said, probably the most well-known Focal Inside kit, Harley Davidson. It really puts a testament to the research and development that Focal does to do an OEM kit in a market that they're not as prevalent in. So they understand and see the market in Harleys and the upgrades that people spend on Harley, and for them to put the R&D into have 4 different Harley Davidson kits available. And anyone that's heard these kits is just super impressed by them. To have a sound quality kit like a Kevlar speaker in a Harley Davidson is just, it's a great sounding kit. So these ones are slightly different to using your standard woofers from like an Access or a Kevlar kit. So in the Access kit, they have aluminum inverted dome compression tweeter. So that compression tweeter is really going to throw that sound towards you and really increase the volume of that sound. They use an inverted surround on the cone just to help with the clearance issues, because there isn't much clearance in that Harley Davidson just behind the grills. They include the different grills, different mounting options. So each kit includes 2 different grills to work with the Street Glide or the Road Guide, depending on the model. And then they have 14 and up and 98 through 13 on the 2 different kits. So that's your 2 different differences in the access kits. And then into the Kevlar kits, so it's using that M profile inverted dome, again, compression tweeter for the Kevlar kits. Similar mounting as the access, using 2 different grills with the 2 different kits that allow for the fitment in the Road Guide, Street Glide, and again, an inverted surround on the Aramid fiber woofer. So those yellow cone speakers, they definitely stand out. It's become a testament with those yellow cones to really high-end quality that Focal offers. So that's it for our speaker lineup. We want to touch on also, we're talking OEM integration, and as much as Focal is speakers, they offer different options for your OEM upgrade in electronics and subwoofers as well. So that's one thing that people strive for, is definitely more bass, more volume out of these OEM systems. So you can have an OEM system in a lot of these vehicles, upgrade the speakers, and the next step is going to be add an amplifier, and Focal's here to help you out with adding the amplifier or adding the woofer. So we want to touch on the Impulse 4-channel amplifier. So this is 320 watts RMS amplifier, and it's a tiny little amplifier that you can hide almost behind the radio, behind the dash in the front of the vehicle. So you got 4 by 55 watts at 4 ohms or 4 by 80 watts at 2 ohms. Has your high pass filter on it, and great little amplifier for just increasing that volume, adding that little bit extra step to that system that you're doing with your Focal inside speakers. And then a relatively new product from Focal in their inside lineup is the iSub Twin. So this is dual subwoofers designed to fit in small applications, under seats, under back seats, 2 by 200 watts, easy OEM look, fits under. It's a very wide cone and gives you that added subwoofer bass without taking up a whole bunch of trunk space. Trunk space is pretty valuable out there. Not a lot of people want big subwoofers, but they still want some bass in the back. We're also going to talk on their Focal inside cables as well. So as we went down speakers and we talk impulse amplifiers, they also make OEM Y connector harnesses for a lot of the vehicles in the lineup. So it gives you that good, better, best options for that customer. So let's say they just want to upgrade the speakers in the vehicle. Perfect. Here's your speakers, but we want to go to that next step. So adding that impulse amplifier to it. And this, again, increases efficiency in the bay, having those OEM connectors. So as you can see, there's different ones: BMW, Ford, Nissan, Mercedes, Toyota, Volkswagen. So this would be a harness that plugs in behind the factory head unit, tees in, gives you your input and output to be able to amplify those speakers from factory. So great upgrade for it. And then they also make different extensions for it. Whether you want to add the subs, the iSub Twins, and power them off the impulse amplifier, or different extensions to upgrade factory BMW subs, different options for it. And this kind of gives you a breakdown of different scenarios that you can run for system configurations. So again, back to the good, better, best, give the customers options. So you start out with just being speaker replacement. Next step up is adding the impulse amplifier to amplify those speakers that you've put in the vehicle. So gives them that OEM quality, OEM look, but more power to the speakers. Next step up is adding the impulse with the speakers, and then also a PSP 200. So PSP 200 would be an 8-inch loader enclosure from Focal. Be able to mount that in the trunk. Great looking box, stitch embroidery into the carpeting of the box. And then different option is doing the impulse full replacement of the speakers and then doing the iSub twins under the seat as well. And they make all the harnesses available to be able to do these different upgrades for the customer. So gives you that good, better, best scenario and still that OEM look in the vehicle. And we're talking about OEM integration, and I don't think you get any more OEM integration than direct fit, direct plug-in. It looks OEM. So that's what I have for the lineup from Focal. So bring Ben back on and we'll discuss a little bit further. And we got some videos for you guys as well.
All right. You nailed that when you said OEM integration. Those wires, it's funny how they call it. Is it Y wire? They call it Y wires. I think maybe in North America will come T harness. I think they're referring to the same thing though, right? Just for clarity.
It's just how you look at it. If you can make a Y a T.
I suppose. Yeah. Okay. And that's really a complete solution. I mean, from the speaker application install, that's literally plug and play, molded, hole, factory holes, the Molex, all that. And then to take it the next level up with that little mini amplifier with the wiring. I mean, the beauty thing, you talked about efficiency in the bay, Jaren. You don't need your master technician to install this stuff, right? Yep. I mean, this is literally perfect for the junior or maybe, the apprentice or whatever it is. You can roll these kind of jobs out, especially if you're getting a little bit of expediters. We're going to talk a little bit more about the business side in a minute. For now, we decided to show you guys 3 different case studies of just how this process works as far as the install side of things. We're talking about efficiency of the bay, and I think Jaren and the team at Focal want to prove a point. And they've gone ahead. They have tons of these videos online. We've selected 3 of them. We're going to watch them, and we're going to come back. They're not long. If you're a technician, this is great. You're going to see exactly what it takes to put these in. We're going to start with our first case study, which is BMW, and just how easy that is. So let's go ahead and roll the tape on BMW, and we'll be back. know it's going to be a great video when one of the tools listed is flashlight. I noticed that right at the beginning. So
the hand lamp.
Exactly, the hand lamp. So as promised, I mean, the hardest part of that install there is taking off and on the door, the panel,
Yes.
rather. Your European vehicles are notorious for being pretty tight fitting, especially some of the connectors, some of the clips. But if you work with European vehicles, maybe you do remote start, maybe you do, that type of stuff. You should be definitely used to that. And it doesn't get any easier than that. Now, I had 2 questions for you, Jaren, for that specific application. What was the additional device they were plugging in there?
It's just an extension cable. So the factory BMW clips on the front. The Focal piece would clip in the back. So that harness just won't reach to the back. So it's included in the kit.
So even that is included. No extension necessary. They thought of it. They know it's going to be tight, so they give you a little bit of an extension on there.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the nice fit, that little Focal inside badging that comes in the box, I think is super clutch as well. I don't know. It doesn't get any easier than that. I don't know what else to say. Jaren, you have anything to add to that?
Definitely something on BMW specifically. That's one that we want to do a case study on. Is a lot of dealers, I think, makes them nervous, that BMW word, right? You're not sure what's going to fit in there, or you haven't done many of them before. Guys that are familiar with the BMWs know what they're doing, but this is a solution that anyone can do. It's taking a lot of the guesswork out of it. Like, hey, what's going to fit in this car? What do we need? What do I got to make? Because as you know, I don't know, looking across the brands, how many 4-inch component kits is there out there?
Not a lot.
Not a lot of 4-inch component kits. So getting something to even fit in the BMW is one thing. This, you're not worrying about depths of speakers. You're not worrying about how thick do I got to make the plate? Is it going to hit the door panel? Like, it's taking the guesswork out of it.
It's 3 screws. My only criticism is, why is he not using a ratcheting screwdriver? that was the best I can come up with.
Some people are just old school.
I can't do it, man. I got to reach for the snap-on. You know what I'm saying? That's me. But anyways, okay. Absolutely. It takes the intimidation factor out of it for sure.
And there's plenty of these vehicles on the market. I was talking with someone the other day, and we're discussing BMW, and you look online, and an E90 BMW, which is pretty common model, 3 Series, there's 1,200 for sale in Canada.
Right now.
Used 3 Series.
There's no doubt about it. These BMW, Mercedes, Audi, like these type of vehicles in the used market are huge right now, especially with the let's just say the lack of new vehicles being made available right now. So these are vehicles you're going to see in the shops coming up big time for sure. All right. The next one, Jaren, is very interesting. It's kind of like, talk about application specific. Mercedes went out of their way to really create a scenario that's unique to them. And that's why Focal kind of stepped up to the plate and made something unique for Mercedes. So let's roll the tape and find out what Focal Inside has for Mercedes-Benz. That clip of that tweeter fitting so perfect into the original slot is so satisfying. I could probably put that on repeat. It was just, every notch is just met up and just click right in. Same with the woofer, mind you. And holy Batman, what the heck is with the amount of clips behind that door? That's crazy. There's so much more to that Mercedes kit. Obviously, we don't have time to cover everything. I would have loved to see the subwoofer install as well because it's so unique, or even the center speaker. But it gives you an idea of just how perfectly fit, these speakers are. What would you like to add to that?
Yeah, they're definitely next level. Like you can see, there's no screws to the speaker as well.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. There weren't any screws whatsoever. Was that just clips? Factory clips?
Factory clips, all clips right in there. So again, you go back to, if you're trying to fit a speaker in there that isn't an OEM fit speaker, what do?
You're shaving a lot of plastic off. That's what you're doing, and then trying to fab something, right?
You're fabbing a bunch of stuff, or you're permanently modifying the door, right? So,
and that's the crazy part. Like these kits, Jaren, can literally be removed with the original factory speakers, put right back in, and nobody would know the difference.
Yeah.
That's another benefit I think we should definitely highlight. And two other things I want to mention before we go to our final one, which will be Harley. Earlier on, you mentioned rivets. Well, I happen to have a little bit of experience. I do have Focal inside in one of my vehicles. And dude, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you do, but I'm going to say it anyways. The rivets that they provide you in the box are actually branded Focal. Like it says Focal on the rivets. Like just a testament to the detail, right? I think that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat.
Next level details.
Next level details, no question about it. And the last thing is, I seen them show a roll of that sound damping material. Man, what a great opportunity, right? If you're doing this type of install for a customer, you're taking apart the door panel, you're upgrading their speakers to Focal inside. You know what I'm going to say next? Throw in some sound shield, would you? I mean, you're already there.
Yes, it doesn't hurt to sound deadened while you're in there. It's added benefits for the customer. They get better sound, quieter car. Mercedes is already quiet, but you can always add more, and it's an upsell for you. You're adding value to the install.
I would say, especially on the Toyota, Ford, the non call it luxury vehicles. I mean, huge difference, as we all know. Okay, we're set up for the last one here. This one is the most interesting, and that's Harley Davidson. So, I mean, when it comes to the Harley kits, I think we talked about these are like some of the most iconic kits available in the Harley Davidson market. I think a lot of Harley owners strive to have this system set up. Now, what are we looking at the K Power version, or are we looking at the Access version here?
I believe the K Power version.
Oh, well, let's get right into it. Harley Davidson Focal Inside install. Let's take a look. All right. So admittedly, this is Harley. This is not a card. It takes a little bit more work. I mean, there's a little bit of soldering involved. You got to incorporate the tweeter wire, but wow, that's the first time I've actually seen the front end kind of being taken off step by step like that. Yeah, it's a little bit more intricate than even I was expecting. But thanks to Focal, you pretty much have the video step by step right there.
Yeah. It's not as intimidating as it seems. If you've taken off one Harley fairing, it becomes second nature to you if you start doing a lot of bikes. But this gives you a good start, like walk through what you need to do. Because you look at it the first time, you're like, how do I get that speaker out there?
Right, like seriously. And then I even noticed a little detail where they said, place the screws, don't tighten yet. Get these ones tightened before you finalize. I mean, that's all that's from experience, right? It's nice to have those little shortcuts. We've got one of our viewers here, Archie Speak, saying that it saves a lot of time for us installers. Loves what the Focal brand is doing. It's very awesome. He's looking into the Harley stuff as we speak. Very cool. Thank you, Archie. All right, so we've gone through our 3 case studies. Got a couple of questions. I think you have some products there that we can get a little bit of a closer look at. Let's take a look at that BMW one first. BMW, the one thing I want to point out, Jaren, is a massive application list.
Yes, it's huge. If you go through their application list for all the different models, all the different trim levels, going back to, I think, 98 on some of them, they've used a lot of the same speaker footprints on it. Mm-hmm. So using the application chart is huge. You can go anywhere from a 1 Series BMW all the way up to 7 Series. Share the same speakers, different configurations
even
in there.
The I Series.
Yes, I as well. Mm-hmm. i8, X5, X6.
All of the X Series, yep, all in there.
In there. So I have one here. This is the coax BMW there speaker. As you can see, OEM connectors on the back there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful speaker. Has a foam ring to attach to the door panel when you're going in there.
And again, to point out, Jaren, there's not 8 different sets of holes. There are 3, and they are tabbed perfectly for BMW fitment.
Yes.
There you go. And just show the depth of that driver real quick. Yeah, and obviously that's optimized to fit in all the BMW applications. Very, very cool. Now, something unique, and maybe we mentioned, let's just reinforce this, something unique that Focal came with, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago, is they decided to go higher end on the Mercedes-Benz kit by offering it in premium flax sandwich cone, like you mentioned. Do you have any of that to take a look at real quick?
Yeah,
of course you do.
Of course I do.
Let's take a look at this. This is the flax Mercedes speaker.
So again, the depth on that speaker, that's why they're using that neodymium motor in it. Just the mounting depth, it gives you greater mounting depth. So this is the center speaker. You can see the 2 different terminals on top and bottom of the speaker for that emergency call function on there. OEM clips in. Can give you a look at those clips up there.
So that's the dual voice coil version for the center you're talking about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And just to take note, I mean, that is of course a flax series speaker, but also the tooling on the basket, it's got that little extra elevated look and feel touch for that customer who wants the very best.
Yeah, you want to talk tooling and R&D.
Let's look at this here.
Mercedes subwoofer.
Hold that right there, Jaren. Hold on a second. We're going to get in on you here. Look at that.
So the details, even to have like in the aluminum grille, the Focal logo stamped that the customer would probably never see because it's under the floor in the carpet in the front of the Mercedes. But just that attention to detail with the aluminum basket as well. Just the mold to that is just
definitely the strangest and most unique looking subwoofer I have ever seen.
Yes.
But yeah, the tooling is just second to none right there for sure. And those are the type of product you probably want to show the customer before you install so they can see what they're paying for. You know what I mean? And do you think there's going to be an expansion? We see different uses of the different technologies that Focal has, right? So, you've got the flax in the Mercedes and they have the K-Power in the Harley. What do you think about, do you think there's going to be other versions for maybe popular applications coming out with different technology cones? Material, rather?
We can only hope. I'm sure they got stuff cooking back at Focal, but
it's not like they can't. They obviously can. It's just a question of will they, right?
Yeah.
All right. So lastly, the Harley Davidson upgrade. I mean, this is kind of like the creme de la creme, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is for Harley guys. Let's take a look at that right there. Now, which one is
So
this one? That's the Access?
This is the Access woofer, so you can see the inverted surround on it, actually, which is pretty cool. It has quite the motor structure to it, to that speaker.
And that's like the entry one, quote unquote.
Yes. The entry level one. And then your factory fit grills again, and your compression tweeters.
And that's the only place where we see compression tweeters from Focal, I think.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. It is, right?
Just it throws that extra sound, gives you that extra volume that you need on a motorcycle.
Yeah, if you look back, guys, we did a session with we had Nolika from Orca come on to talk about the Harley Davidson kits, and during that session, we had a video from Conrad Leduc from Sudbury Car Audio where he installed these things. Holy cow, are these things loud? I mean, that's what Harley guys want, right? So amazing. All right, we're gonna wrap up the show real quick on the business side of things. I think we've covered the gambit from a technical application standpoint. What's your advice to dealers when it comes to either getting into or improving their sales within this space, this OEM integration kind of upgrade space?
My advice to dealers is definitely take a look at the website. We also have an in-depth application chart that you can request from us. But give it a thought when that customer walks in the door. When a salesperson starts talking to a customer about, hey, what do you want to upgrade in your vehicle? I'm looking for new speakers. What type of vehicle? Give it a thought to say, hey, is this an option that we have for your vehicle? Especially if I hear BMW or Mercedes and they're looking to upgrade their sound, or even to replace speakers that have blown. A common thing that happens in the BMWs is those underseat woofers. People treat them like subwoofers, crank the bass on their BMW, and those woofers blow, and they're $2,000 a piece from BMW, right? And this gives you another option for that customer. So definitely make it a go-to. Keep it in your mind for that customer walking in once you're qualifying them, talking about the vehicle, or even to do for expediters as well. It's an option. It's OEM. It can be done for dealers. You can brand it Focal. They can sell Focal. There is plenty of branded systems out there coming from the manufacturers. So to be able to do a Focal branded system in your own dealership is another option for you, another sales feature.
Two awesome points, Jaren. If I may comment on both of those points. When customers are presented the opportunity to purchase an application-specific product for their vehicle, if they're presented with such an option, I'm going to say more often than not, they're going to go for that option because they feel like, oh, instead of making a universal product fit in my vehicle, I'm now getting a product that is made specifically for my vehicle. And especially if you're talking to a customer with a Mercedes or BMW or that type of thing, I think there's a lot of value in that, right? So that's the first thing. On the other side of it is you nailed it, the expediter business. If you guys are doing remote start, you might be doing other expediter type services for dealerships, whether it's a new car dealership or one of these, slightly used premium vehicle car dealerships, as we know are popping up everywhere. If you get in with the F&I and you can offer a Focal upgrade package that they can finance, man, the opportunities are huge right there for you guys to take advantage of. Finally, when we're talking to you, when I want to hear what your final message is, are there opportunities that exist right now to get with Importel and become Focal Inside dealers across Canada?
Yes, there's certainly opportunity. Contact Importel. If you don't already have an account, set up an account with us. Keep it front of mind. Keep the Focal name going, and these speakers, once you put them in a vehicle, you'll love them, love the sound quality of them, and keep it as a thought in your mind when you're out on the sales floor.
And just to be clear, Justin, Jaren, not Justin, for dealers, do they have to be a Focal dealer to become a Focal Inside dealer?
No, the Inside range is available to all our dealers.
Very important to know. Okay, on that note, let's go up and bring up the digits. So if you're interested in finding out about more products or any of the products that we covered today on this session, make sure you check out their website. It's focal-inside.com. The videos that you saw today, they have a YouTube channel, all the application charts, the Y harness charts, it's all there on the website. Now, like Jaren mentioned, if you're interested in becoming a dealer for Focal Inside, whether or not you're a Focal dealer, but for Focal Inside, there are plenty of opportunities. Importel.com, give them a call, and they will set you up. Jaren, brilliant. This was a really good one. I think very informative. I want to take the time to thank you for preparing everything today, and certainly looking forward to the next time you're on CMA.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Take care, Jaren. All right. Thanks for tuning in for this one. Want to remind you to keep it locked right here on CMA Networks right through till August 26th. We're covering an incredibly important and ever-evolving category, and it's called OEM integration. We're deep into it now, each and every day, a different brand, whether we're integrating into the head unit, or we're trying to get the signal, or we're trying to sum, or we're trying to upgrade speakers. It's all about OEM integration this August until August 26th. Now, we've got an awesome contest for you dealers, Canadian dealers specifically out there, a chance to win a free Kenwood dual motorsports camera system, brand new. Basically, all you got to do is head over to our CMA Networks Facebook page, look for the post, like our page, like JVC Kenwood Canada's page, share it. We're going to draw the winner. Somebody's going to win this $700 value dual motorsports cam. Awesome. And while you're there, make sure you check out our website, cmanetworks.com. Lots of videos like this from Importel. We want to learn more about Focal. Whatever it is, dive deep. We've got hundreds of videos to choose from right there on cmanetworks.com. Thanks for tuning in to this CMA Connected, all about Focal Inside, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it. Yo, roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?